Om Shanti. Respected chief guest on the dais, Subhash Barala ji, Raji Yogini, Sudesh, Didi, all the respected guests, all the members of the Brahma Kumari family, all the delegates, members of the media. I am very, very happy to be here today. I thank you all for the opportunity. It has really been a blessing to have spent the last 15 hours, 16 hours here on campus. I had heard a lot about the Brahma Kumaris, but what I have truly witnessed in the last few hours has been very unique. The people especially, the community that has been built has been truly impressive, and the kind of work that is being done. And the best thing is the kindness, it's not performative, it is a very lived thing. इतने प्यार से खिला रहे हैं, इतने प्यार से स्वागत किया. And my special shout out to Natmal Bhai, who has been with me throughout, from invitation to explaining me so patiently about the entire system, the teachings of Brahma Baba, the whole journey from Sindh to Karachi to Mount Abu. He's been such a gracious host, and my experience here has been truly, truly illuminating and enjoyable. I thank you all for giving me the opportunity. I will be speaking in English because I am not used to Hindi, so please excuse me. I have been invited here as a member of the media fraternity, but I stand here first and foremost as an Odia. My identity, my first identity is I come from Odisha. I come from the land of Jagannath. So today when we are gathered here, discussing about media's role in attaining global peace, it is natural for all of us to feel a little overwhelmed, to feel a little hopeless, to feel a little helpless. Because we in media, we are witnessing the conflict, the hate, the divide, the noise, the chaos, everything on ground. So it's natural for us to be skeptical, to question even the possibility of peace. But coming from the land of Jagannath, I would like to view this from the lens of Jagannath called culture and consciousness. Jagannath's life's teachings have answers to the most complicated questions in life. And I believe that probably there would be some teachings for us in media as well. Every year in Puri, I'm sure you've all heard of the Rath Yatra, the largest chariots of the world, they move through the streets, and they are not pulled by priests or machines. They are pulled by ordinary hands. The hands of a widow, the hands of a farmer, the hands of a student, the hands of a skeptic. And there no one asks you what is your caste, what is your income. Every hand on that rope, every hand pulling that rope is equal. Jagannath in our tradition is not a distant god. He is said to be a living God. He laughs and cries with his devotees. He eats with the untouchable. He can go to any length for his devotees. And even in some stories, he even washes the clothes of his devotees. So in Jagannath culture, peace is just not an abstract slogan. It is a basic grammar of life. So it is the idea that we are all one family, and that dignity must be given to the poorest, the smallest, and the most forgotten. And it teaches us that true peace begins when the mighty do not consider the weak as a burden, when the mighty consider them as a brother or sister. And this is the first lesson I feel media must learn if it wants to be a force for world peace. Like Jagannath's chariot, the media can also be the common chariot, not only of the elite or the powerful or the rich, not of any particular community or any particular party, but of shared humanity. If you have seen Jagannath, Jagannath's eyes are large. They're wide open all the time. They don't look down on anyone. Media too must learn to keep its eyes wide open to the suffering of all, not only to the stories that get us TRPs and advertisements or viewership. We live in a digital world now. Earlier values were passed on from generation to generation within the family, within our intimate circles, during meals, or via stories from grandparents or parents, lessons of sharing, love, compassion, empathy. We learned it living in joint families from real quality time spent together. But today, families are becoming nuclear. Grandparents live in distant cities or even distant countries, and parents are working, they have limited time. So children confide in gadgets now. They don't confide in their elders or their parents. The screen has become the constant companion. So sometimes I feel now media has quietly become the new parent, the new grandparent. We are the ones who tell the stories. We are the ones they look to when they want to know more about the world. We are the ones who are shaping the narrative. We are telling them what is normal, what is cool, what is dangerous, what is worth fighting for, what is worth letting go. The media has become a very personal one-to-one medium. So here we must understand that we carry a huge spiritual responsibility, not in the real religious sense, but in the sense that, our words, our stories, our content are shaping minds, and those minds are shaping the world. So the bigger question here is for all of us, I will just leave it as a question, is that are we really ready for this big responsibility? And this brings me to another topic that is a little distressing for me. Manish ji has touched slightly on this. I agree with each and every word that he said. And I say this with a little discomfort, a little bit of shame, because I also belong to this fraternity and profession. But a lot of our esteemed speakers spoke about the way we are reporting on war. And I'm sure all of you must be aware that the TRP, the television rating points, the TRP reporting has been suspended for an unspecified period of time, temporarily, because some media houses, or I would say most media houses, were exploiting war, death, suffering, tragedy for ratings. So when people are dying and media channels turn tragedy into breaking news, so when viewership, likes, engagement, shares, eyeballs, they become more important than the truth and its consequences, then I think this is an absolute betrayal of the medium that we're working for. And there is also something else that is unspoken. Again, Manish has touched a little bit on that. The state of mind behind each story. Every story is filed by a human being, end of the day. And every human being has an inner state. So if a journalist carries anger, fear, bias, that emotion affects the story in some way or the other, that is certain. But if a reporter is calm, compassionate, and curious, the story can become a weapon. The story can become a bridge rather than a weapon. So when a journalist sits down to cover a story, are they anxious? Are they in fear? Are they upset? Are they angry? Are they anxious about their careers? There could be so many things. Have they had an argument at home? And this is not a criticism, because this is simply what it is to be human, and we are all human, right? I will take this opportunity to acknowledge the wisdom, philosophy, and teachings of the Brahma Kumaris, because they have long taught this very thing, that the quality of what we create in the world is inseparable from the quality of what we practice inside of us, what we feel inside of us. And this is not a retreat away from our professional life. I feel this is one of the very, very professional things needed for media in today's world, where it's an essential tool for editorial, it's an essential tool for every media person, what we are doing right now and what will happen in the next 2-3 days, the practice of observing our own mind. So a journalist who can notice their own fear, their bias, their fatigue before writing a sentence or before recording something on air, that journalist will be a more accurate journalist and a more powerful force of peace. One thing is certain, the medium has changed. Now our approach also needs to change. I would like to just leave you with a thought that what if we began to treat journalism and content creation as a form of spiritual practice, not in a religious sense, but in the sense that every piece of content that we release into the world, be it a story, be it a print item, be it a podcast, be it anything, we have to consider it as an act with a consequence, like karma. So if we pause before writing, if we pause a little before saying, if we pause a little bit before typing, then I think we will be more aware of what we are writing, and we can ask simple questions like, is this getting people together, or is this dividing people? So there is a phone in every hand, and the people holding it are looking for what human beings have always looked for: meaningful connection, the sense that they are not alone in the world. And technology is not the enemy. The question is, what is the soul behind the screen? If the soul is greed, TRPs, polarization, then technology will be a weapon. But if the soul is love, compassion, truth, care, then the same technology can carry the spirit of peace. So more stories of reconciliation, of peacemakers, of love, of healing, of shared values in culture. In our temples, we light a lamp. Rajyogini Didi has also spoken about that lamp. The flame might be small, but it has the power to dispel darkness. Media can too be that small lamp, promoting unity, not division. I started with Jagannath, I will end with Jagannath. Jagannath's greatest teaching is this: peace is not something that you declare, that we have peace, or we should go for peace. It is something you practice every day, in every small act, in how you treat the person in front of you. The media that practices peace looks like this. They choose truth over sensation, choosing the human face over body counts, choosing to build rather than to break. It looks like a journalist who has cultivated enough stillness inside to report fear without spreading it. It looks like a newsroom that asks before every broadcast. The Rath Yatra does not reach its destination in a single pull. It moves inch by inch, hand by hand, together. The world can be built the same way, world peace. Story by story, one act of responsible journalism at a time. I thank the Brahma Kumaris for organizing this for us, the media fraternity, so relevant and so meaningful in today's world. And if we go back from there, and even if we can probably change the way we report, even by 1%, all of us in this room, then the collective impact will be very huge, and the world will definitely be a better place, a more peaceful place. Thank you all so much for this opportunity. Om Shanti.